Okay, fellas, we need to talk about Alacrity because yes, you probably saw in our stream yesterday, it was kind of bugging out. And by bugging out, it was proccing even when my teammates were alive, and more specifically, proccing inside of Trials. Now, we've already reviewed a few weapons. We did the Trials Scout Rifle. We talked about how good of a scout it is, primarily when Alacrity is procced. Then we also talked about Summoner. And even though we're not in a 600 round per minute auto rifle meta by no means, Alacrity really elevated that weapon. And this is not a trait that is found on just adept weapons. The beautiful thing about Alacrity is that it is present on certain trial weapons this season, whether they are adept or not. Now, this trait gives you those bonuses of increased reload, stability, aim assist, as well as range when you are the last living member of your fire team or running solo. Pretty much anywhere that you're running solo, whether it's in PvE, Lost Sectors, Rumble, Alacrity works, as described here by the Origin Trait description. What surprised us was while we were playing Trials yesterday, Alacrity was proccing when our teammates were still up. And it almost seemed like after the first round, if you had the weapon out already, when you would spawn in, it was like the game registered you spawning in solo, and this would result in Alacrity proccing. And it would stay proc somewhere between 15 to 30 seconds, which is plenty long enough to conclude at least one gunfight in a single Trials round. Now, if this is intentional, if Alacrity is supposed to be working this way, well, trial weapons already were looking to be the PvP meta for me. Now, though, they're going beyond that. This is a noticeable buff that Alacrity grants. It's not some poopy origin trait like one quiet moment where you just get increase in reload speed when out of combat. This is a noticeable difference. And we even did a range test here on Alacrity. Just base, Alacrity gives you a 2-meter increase in your range. That is huge. Imagine an igneous hammer with Alacrity. That 120 round per minute hand cannon nerf that hit range really hard, well, Alacrity just erased that. Now, before you get too excited, only certain trial weapons actually got Alacrity, which takes us to our list. We have, of course, the Scout Rifle, Ashe's Embrace, or Ash's Embrace, the Summoner, which is also dropping this weekend as the Adept weapon, the Messenger, Eye of Soul, Shayura's Wrath, and Reed's Regret. There are other weapons showing a potential for Alacrity to appear on them, but not actually in light GG yet. And that is, of course, the Scholar, Astral Horizon, Tomorrow's Answer, and Exile's Curse. Again, no confirmation on those, at least in regards to light GG, but for the other weapons, yes, they are showing Alacrity. Not only are they showing Alacrity, they're also showing new roles. By the way, if you haven't checked out Ashe's Embrace and our Summoner reviews, feel free to check that one out. I know the Summoner review was a live review, but it gives you an indication of how well the weapon works because we just went in there blind yesterday playing Rumble games, and I was super impressed with how Alacrity was working with the Summoner. But just starting with the Messenger, you want to talk about a weapon that is already a monster with the right set of roles. Desperado on the Messenger is so nasty, and it's still present, of course, except we do have a couple other combinations that you may want to consider. One being Perpetual Motion. I know most of us default there to either Rapid Hit or maybe even Outlaw for that reload speed, but to me, Perpetual Motion with Desperado with Alacrity is going to be disgusting. One of the limiting factors here with Messenger was really its range, right? Like, it had okay range, but it wasn't the best amongst pulse rifles. We're talking somewhere around an average of like 41, maybe 42 meters at the high end. But with Alacrity, that gives us a bump of another 2 meters, and the aim assist buff is really the most noticeable thing here. And I honestly think there's something baked into accuracy. Despite it not being mentioned there in the origin trait, Alacrity claims it only boosts one's aim assist and not necessarily the accuracy. But my personal opinion, at least playing with Alacrity, is I feel like there's a bump there to both accuracy and aim assist. And it's two very different things, guys. Hence why certain perks in the game, maybe it's tap the trigger, opening shot, those traits feel so good because of the increase in accuracy that it grants. Another benefit about accuracy is there is no cap. Aim assist has a cap. Either way it goes, the Messenger with Alacrity, absolutely disgusting. Another weapon, Eye of Soul. Fellas, I don't know how many of you actually snipe in things like Rumble, but I know we're sniping all the time in things like Trials. And if Alacrity continues to proc in between rounds, you can imagine Eye of Soul putting in absolute work. If you think the benefits of aim assist and accuracy is noticeable on our primary weapons, I can only imagine what it's going to be like here here on Eye of Soul. Now, to me, the God roll is still going to be either no distraction snapshot or moving target in snapshot. I know we have things like Focus Fury, Harmony also present, Rangefinder. Don't necessarily think you need that. We don't need more zoom, but that snapshot moving target roll is a roll that I've consistently used for a very, very long time. And my God, does it pop off. That in combination with Alacrity, you're going to see people using snipers in Rumble constantly. And if it continues to proc the way it's procking currently in 3v3 modes or primarily in Trials, Eye of Soul is going to be the undisputed best sniper in the kinetic slot. Now, the next one, which is also scary to even imagine having Alacrity on, is Shayura's Wrath. Fellas, this is an SMG that with the right rolls puts Recluse to shame. And I know some of you don't even believe that. But the beautiful thing about this one is that its range reaches up to nearly 30 meters. Now, with the right rolls, it's normally around 28 meters. But regardless, 28 meters with an SMG, absolutely disgusting. Now, this weapon also has new rolls, including Golden Tricorn and Perpetual Motion. Personally, for how I use Shayura, because I like to pair it with a sniper rifle, primarily Eye of Soul, which, by the way, I'm assuming if you have Alacrity on two different weapons and you're swapping back and forth between the both of them, voila, should be procking just fine. Because that's one of the things about Alacrity inside of Trials. If you swap off the weapon and then swap back to it, it's like Alacrity goes away. But regardless, the God roll for me, when pairing it with a special weapon, is still a Harmony roll. And I love the idea of Harmony and Perpetual Motion together. With Alacrity on top of it, disgusting. Now, inside of Rumble, just running and gunning, kill clip Perpetual Motion all day long. Perpetual Motion, fellas, has turned into one of my favorite traits. I know I'm constantly talking highly about it. The fact is that weapon trait persists throughout an entire gunfight, and all it does is require you to be mobile. Now, you still have options like Dynamic Sway, Elemental Capacitor, Tap the Trigger Dynamic Sway. Personally, like I said a long time ago when we reviewed the original roll here of Shayura's Wrath, that kill clip tunnel vision roll, Shayura is already so good at base that you can really get away with using whatever you want. It's just amazing to me that Alacrity is going to be present on this weapon, which, yes, is going to make it the undisputed best SMG, especially inside of Rumble. Oh, and it's a void weapon, so you can bring it in PvE and get volatile rounds. Now, next one is Reed's Regret. Now, Reed's Regret, this isn't really going to be a big change for this one. Something interesting about Reed's Regret, though, is that it's considered a vice weapon. So it actually has 3 different origin traits. It has Alacrity, it has one quiet moment, but it also has Vice Stinger, where the weapon will reload itself as you're damaging an enemy with it. That to me is going to be the clear winner, even over Alacrity. Although if you want to take this inside of PvP for that extra aim assist, linear fusion rifles are already ridiculous. This is just going to make it even nastier. But for damage phases, dude, that Reed's Regret, firing line, clown cartridge, or triple tap roll with Vice Stinger. Oh, at what point do we even have to stop to reload? These are the things we need to try, fellas. I need them. Now, we do have some other trial weapons, but these are not showing anything currently in Light GG in regards to rolls, as well as the Alacrity trait being present on them. That is, of course, Scholar, Astral Horizon, Exile's Curse, Tomorrow's Answer. As far as I've seen right here, nothing really appears all that different about them, but there is, of course, some random roll changes, or what appears to be different rolls. Astral Horizon showing Demolitionist, Trench Barrel, Killing Wind, Pulse Monitor. Again, I don't know when the last time this was updated, but nothing there is really looking that great to me, at least for PvP. So the API may not be updating on some of these. Exile's Curse, from what I'm seeing, looks to be about what it was before. You know, you still have Kickstart, Slide Shots, Vorpal, etc. Now, I only bring this up because these weapons are showing on a website called blueberries.gg, and on that website, it's showing Alacrity being present on those weapons. Personally, though, I feel very good about Light GG. That's normally where we get all of our information from, so I'll take it as confirmation if Light GG ever updates those rolls and those Alacrity traits on those weapons. Regardless, though, the ones we just listed right there that do have Alacrity on them make a huge difference. The Summoner is by no means meta, but it is popping off this season just due to Alacrity, which is why I can't help but get hyped for things like Eye of Soul, Messenger, and Shayura's Wrath to see these weapons in action inside of PvP. And of course, Reed's Regret inside of PvE, at least with that Vice Stinger trait. So fellas, let me know in the comments below what you think. Again, Alacrity is present on all rewards from Trials, whether you're ranking up, you're going flawless, or not going flawless. You can have access to one of these Trials weapons with Alacrity by just participating in Trials. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.